Good evening, friends and folks and addicts and non-addicts and everybody out there. This is Kurt Schuler from RAEL Live Recovery Stories, and my story is a story of recovery. Danke anywhere with my coffee tank. Brian Tank Engelke. Thank you. Yeah, please. So, good evening, Cheryl. I know yesterday evening we had a bit of a later meeting with the guys. Hi, Michelle. And we never went online. And tonight we are online. So we'll just wait for a couple of our friends. Okay, I see they are slowly coming online. And see Michael's mom is there. Cheryl is there. Auntie Connie from Durban. Hi, Lee J. Our social media manager there in the UK. Clutchy. And okay, so it's Thursday evening. Usually I would be planning, years ago I would be planning what I would have been doing for the weekend and getting excited about it. And you know, getting excited about things that destroy and distract us has to be part of the illness. And you know, you get people that have never touched drugs in their life, that are raised in homes where there was arguments over weekends, where there was abuse and chaos and all kinds of things, and maybe they don't crave drugs, but they crave chaos. So when things are going too quiet and too smooth, how's it, Gladwin, my bro? I sent your ID down the other day that you left here.
You don't look the same.
You don't look the same as what you did on your ID photo. But it's fine. You look better now. And so we crave all different things, or I wouldn't say we crave all different things, but the norm to a lot of people is not the same. And the norm to me when I got here, as I said before, the norm to me when I got here and the thinking that I had was the only thing that I was doing wrong was putting chemicals into my body. I didn't think that being unforgiving was wrong. I didn't think that when somebody dropped their wallet that it was right to pick it up and give it back to them. My way of thinking was that if they dropped their wallet, then something was wrong with them and they needed to take responsibility and look after the way that they do things a bit differently. I didn't think that what if it was me that was dropping my wallet. And yeah, so I had to learn all these things as I went along. And what pressure did I have on me to learn these different things? Is that I was taught if I didn't change them, I would carry on killing myself. Because that's ultimately what addiction is. It's killing yourself slowly. And there's all different angles and different takes on addiction. some people go the whole week without drinking, but on a weekend they piss it up from the Friday till the Sunday evening. But what are they dealing with in the week? They're holding all kinds of different hurts, hang-ups, and habits, and when Friday comes, they forget it all again. They're a totally different person, and Monday starts again, and that's how we go through the weeks, repeating it. Thank you, Angus. And I must tell you guys that Angus is going to be qualified very soon, and a qualified carer. And that is also through his behavior with Mr. Hall's mom, Mrs. Hall, that on the farm here we call mom. Because it being his mom, it could be any of our moms. And our doctor, Dr. Rihanna Dutoy, seen a good trait in Angus when we used to go and visit Mrs. Hall in Cape Town when she was at the old age home, and the way he was with her and things like that, and somebody suggested that he'd be a good carer. So Angus is gonna qualify soon. He's done most of his theory and all of that. He's been accepted at an institute to do some of his practical. He's done some over here with qualified carers and doctors. And when Angus came back to RAEL after his second time, he had a nice long time of sobriety. And then, like we say, the acronym for SLIP is sobriety lost its priority. And Angus fell a little bit off, and only because he stopped practicing the program that he was taught here. And then he came back, and that's why we say it's so lovely to watch somebody grow. Because Angus didn't only grow as a person inwardly, I think Angus grew a little bit outwardly as well, because he's well fed here. And how's it, Duncan? Joshua, Mom, Iris, Elizabeth, Taryn, Ilario, Gertrude, Valda. I must tell Lee J his mom is watching. And so that's how we watch people grow young. You know, I was going to speak on a topic tonight, that what do we want out of this recovery? Like, do we want jobs, cars, a good work ethic, a girlfriend, or what is it that we want? Because most of the time, a lot of the guys haven't hit the bottom low enough in recovery, and maybe haven't been educated enough because of the rehabs that they've been to. And I'll get into the rehabs now. That is actually what is very heavy on my heart. What we actually are chasing is some sort of kind of peace away from the inner turmoil that the drugs or alcohol or whatever our relief system was took away for a while. Yeah, no, Duncan, I got serenity. I'm still looking for the sanity part. But the bit of sanity I got, I use it to not pick up drugs again, because that's insane. But at the same time, whether I come across arrogant or not, I'm also just an arm's length away from a drink or drug without the program. I stop the program, I go back to the insanity. So, I just want to put it out there that addiction isn't recognized. When I say it all the time, you get a hospital plan just in case there's a certain kind of accident, or just in case somebody gets ill, or just in case a dog bites them and they need to go to hospital for stitches, or just in case, whatever. And I'm really getting to the point where I'm starting to believe that when our kids are 10, that we must get rehab insurance. Because I said to one of the newer guys here today that, these 3-week programs that the medical aid offers, where you go into the hotels that the medical aid pays for. Over here, most of the time, this is something new to somebody. Okay, the whole routine and whatever, because it's all been distracted and destroyed by the drugs and by the lifestyles that we led. And after 2 weeks, we're only starting to get used to the times and what happens next and all of that. Definitely, Sandy. And I say that, Sandy, because it can happen to anybody. Like a hospital plan, why do we have that? We have that in case something happens. Because the statistics with drug addiction is getting so bad. And we look into it all the time. That 8 out of 10 people are going to try drugs. And 6 out of that 10 is probably going to get addicted at some stage or another and need help. And so it takes a bit of time to even get used to the times you got to be up and get used to the people and like we said, I asked in a meeting the other night on Vanna's 20 months who knows his second name or who knows when his birthday is. And because of the way the program is set up, it's about trying to find out about another person, their interests and their story and how they are and things like that, to get rid of the selfish and self-centeredness that goes along with drug addiction, that goes along with addiction. The core of it is the selfish and the self-centeredness. And because I've seen all the selfless acts of Mr. Hall. Hey, how's it, Richie? Sitting in load shedding. Okay, we're powerless over the power. And if they don't do something different, then who's going to restore us to sanity? So we just got to accept that the power's out. And yeah, I'll answer that now, Mom. Yeah, so you start only getting used to these things. For a lot of the older people that have had jobs before, that have held down jobs, that have worked a bit, that it's normal to wake up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and to wash their faces and all of that. A lot of that comes back automatically when the drugs are done. But then there's other things that go along with it. Like I say, the outward is the easy part to get right. The answers that you must write on the questions that they give you on the worksheets in the rehabs is, we all know that we mustn't steal. We all know that we must forgive. We all know that do unto you that what you, or do unto others that what you want done to yourself. Okay, so there's the one set of those rehabs that you go to for 3 weeks, if you're lucky 28 days. And then there's the other set that claim to be NPOs that get donations from everybody. Like I said, some of them in the country that I've been to, where the pastors are driving the latest Ford Focuses RS, and I was working in the kitchen in that specific one, and I was siphing the weebles out of the pup in the morning that was expired and donated. And some of these places have got 80 to 100 people at $5,000 a pop. That's half a million rand a month. And we used to have a funny saying, it's not that funny, because it's the truth, because addicts get ostracized or criticized in normal society. They get victimized by the cops when the cops should be going after the dealers. Because if there was no dealers, there wouldn't be addicts or street drug addicts. And yeah, look at that situation with the lady that phones the cops for her son. And I mentioned it the other night on the meeting. She showed the cops the tick and the buttons that she found in his room, and then they tell her that they can lock her up because it's in her possession. Yeah, geez, if I was in that situation, and it's only because what I know now, and because of how I hear the parents' pain when they phone you and that. Because sometimes when the parents phone me and I speak to them, I deal with a lot of parents, and sometimes when I hear what pain and stuff that's going on with them, I actually sit here on the phone and I picture myself in a Casper going through the dealer's wall and doing what he's doing to our families, to his family. But that's a bit unethical and against my program. And if I do that, the program tells me that I can't stay sober. So I challenged one of the rehabs today. I phoned and I pretended that it was an inquiry, and they told me about all these lovely things that they do, and that the males are separate from the females, and all of that. And I personally know somebody that conceived a child over there, and told me about how they supervised and surveillanced and all that kind of stuff, and they're only in contact, the males and females are only in contact when it's groups, and the girls sit on the one side of the room and the guys sit on the other side. And then I told her about this story, and then everything she had just told me about the program, because I asked, how do you monitor all this written work to see that it's being practiced? And then she told me about how well they supervised and this and that and all of that. And at the same time, I know about 12 different people that don't know each other that have been to this place in specific. I wish I could say the name. Just so that people don't send their kids there to get more fucked up. Sorry. But then when I challenged her about this story, then she said, okay, yeah, no, but the people that work here have to sleep and this and that, and try to justify everything that I said. and everything that she said, when she had just told me now how the people are monitored and all of that. And that's where I feel that we stuck in between with this drug pandemic. We stuck in between the dealer, the cops, and the rehabs. And after 3 weeks, you can't build a relationship with people the way we have with Gladwin, with Richie, with Freddie, with Carl, with Graham. Yeah, the list goes on. Because I know that okay, wait, I was talking in Afrikaans, so confusing me here, but I'm still a bit deep fried. Because I'm trying to read it in English. And that is where we're sitting in between at the moment, people. That is why we do things like RAEL Orange Friday. And that is why I wanted to post my picture with my Orange Friday ribbon for tomorrow with myself and Mel. And I wanted to say there that I'm the addict, but I'm not the only one that has dealt with pain because of my addiction. And Michelle knows as well. As naughty and as much damage and whatever as Michael has caused, it's not only the pain of the addiction, but when the person goes to rehab and things like that, and you got the right mindset, then it's as if the person is sick and in hospital. So sure, the parents also miss their child and their loved ones. Yeah, Michelle, all while that you know a social worker, but some of them that we know send and are in cahoots with some of these rehab owners. And with the courts and the whole, there's a couple of old familiar names that just used to send people 10 years ago to a certain set of rehabs. The one my friend was in, my best friend at the time, came out and hung himself. And the owner of that rehab sent me a friend request the other day, 2 days ago. And then there's another one that I've been to. And these are meant to be pastors. So where are we in the middle of all of this? The people that want recovery, or the people that need recovery, or realize that they've got a problem, they've depleted their family and loved ones' hope, and they've depleted their family and loved ones' finances in most cases, because they've been from rehab to rehab, because the system has failed us. So what are we meant to do? We're supposed to build a family like we have on this group. Where if Gladwin spent 3 weeks here, there's no ways that I would have sent him a message after that to ask it, hey, how's it going, bro? If me and Richie never had very good times together, that there was tears involved sometimes, because we couldn't believe that we were at where we were compared to where we came from. How could this be happening in our lives? What could we have possibly done to deserve this? If we hadn't shared moments like that, coming out of the darkness into the light, then would I have had a relationship with Richie where I can phone Richie now, even though the curfew's 10 o'clock? And I can promise you Richie will be here. That's the relationships that we've built here. And you can't do that in 3 weeks. Okay, is Richie and Clutchy having a domestic? I remember you guys used to have lots of domestics here. And so that's how we go on here. And I was telling the guys earlier, for me to stay sober, it hasn't worked before, not being involved in being of service to other human beings, not being involved with continuous rehabilitation for other people and working my program at the same time. Because what happens and the way it works is, I'm the one telling the people the rules, yeah, I'm the one telling the program, but at the same time, I'm the one that's hearing it first and have to listen to it, because if I don't listen to it, I can't teach it. And if I say it, it's for me too. And so there's a very, very educated and good-mannered and good ethical background man that came in today. And most of the guys in the group, we've grown now. Richie, we passed the stage now with this group where it's just meetings about rules and all of that. And we're growing, and we can move on to the next meetings and the next teachings and things like that, because we don't need to just teach the rules anymore, because the guys are listening to the rules and you know the different stages that we go through, yeah. And the guys' parents are elderly people, and they walked in through the gates, and the same 30 guys that were making chaos a few months ago, stealing from their parents, hurting people, breaking rules, being disrespectful, playing TV games for 18 hours, not lifting a finger at home. You know, all the chaos and hurt that goes along with it. And these two elderly people asked me, "Waar's al die siek mense?" Because they couldn't believe how within seconds there was 10 people around to ask if they needed help with the bags, to ask if they wanted something to drink. And there was a meeting going on inside at the moment. Mr. Orr was busy with somebody inside, so when this newcomer came in, then there was one or two guys in the den or in our recreational or entertainment area that we have here on the farm. It's nice set up. We've got a pool table there, we've got a TV, there's a couple of recliner couches and whatnot, and we can't use it and sit in it the whole day, you know what I mean? Not like at those 80,000 Rand for 3-week rehabs. That's a nice place to sit and think about your day, or to watch a little bit of TV the way normal people do when they get home from work and their things are done and whatnot. And they couldn't believe that when they walked in there, that the guys all stood up to greet them. Even the guys that have only been here for a week or two. I must show you something, Richie. I think of you every time I look at the Marlboro packet. And these are the things, and like I was saying, because of the new guys, this is how the message has been carried across from the older guys. Because if they see the guys that, not the older guys, the guys that have been longer on the program, because if they see the guys on the program cutting corners and breaking rules and over here, we are in your face, Rehab. Because most of us are in a situation that we're in because we couldn't see or help ourselves with our own mistakes. So if I do something wrong, or if I was on the program and I do something wrong here or there or wherever, then luckily there would be somebody around me that has been taught and that could say to me, hey bro, we don't do things like that here. And just like the guys that have been here a little bit longer, if they're doing certain habits or whatever, it's almost automatic. And I almost explained it to the guys in the sense that we've got 10 dogs here that eat a lot. And they get along well and all of that. And my personal dog, Gracie, she never used to, at home when I go out for a smoke, she never used to scratch on the door to go back inside. You know, these last few cold days that we've had in Cape Town, she never used to do that. But she's learnt it and seen it from the other dogs and it being done here. And it's the same with people. I'm not saying people are dogs. People also eat a lot. I'm not saying people are dogs, but this is what happens in a place like this. There's guys that have got X amount in the program, that have amount of time in the program, and they start behaving in certain ways. And the whole sort of crux of the story is that because of the behavior here, I'm not saying that all those people that were here today, when those two elderly people booked their son in, are healed on the inside. But the stigma that we're trying to remove that is attached to addiction, in their minds, they thought, where is all the drug addicts? Because when you say the word heroin or tick or alcohol abuse or codeine or whatever, there's a picture in your mind that goes along with it. Because that's the picture that people had thought of. And at their age, they said that they never thought that they would be going through this kind of thing. And yeah, as I was saying, that yes, Richie, monkey see, monkey do. And like I said, we passed the stage now with a group where we're having meetings about rules and things like that. It's now getting to know each other. It's about opening up. It's about getting the filth out. It's about crying in meetings. It's about feeling and being remorseful and going through the pain to get the peace. It's about speaking about how we ill-treated our girlfriends and our loved ones, and why on earth would they stand by us after what we've done. But at the same time, learning how to change what we've done so that we don't repeat the insanity and just do it all over again. Richie, can you see the photo there in the background over there of us? I'm actually looking here on the selfie camera now. That was quite a lekker day. There, Michelle, you can see there's also a lekker one. Who is that? With Mrs. Hall. And we're very confrontational over here. Where yes, we read what you're writing, but what you're writing and what you're talking has to fit your walk as well. And I've seen homeless people come in here that weren't homeless their whole life, you know what I mean? I've seen homeless people come in here that have left with just about their own businesses. Completely restored people. So I think the message that I want to get across this evening is that if we stand together in this whole mess of things, then maybe we all stand a better chance, so that it doesn't happen to somebody else's kid, so that it doesn't happen to our next kid, because it is so unpredictable. And I was explaining to the guys earlier, yes, it's good to learn about triggers and to learn about all the hurts, hang-ups, and because there's outward triggers, there's inward triggers, and all of that. And it's nice to read about that, because it is educating yourself and getting to know yourself and reflecting and seeing, okay, if I didn't like conflict in the house, like I explained it to them, I said, and this is probably the easiest way to explain it to everybody, so that everybody can identify, is what does an alcoholic do when somebody's pissed him off? Now I'm asking you guys a question now. Maybe you can give me a hint. What does an alcoholic do when somebody's pissed him off? Well, the picture I get in my mind is an alcoholic going to the bottle and throwing him a sterkdop, a strong drink. So the process with the program is being reversed. With the program, or that alcoholic getting angry, it's automatic. He doesn't say, okay, now I'm angry and I feel angry, and to get rid of this anger or a reaction to this anger is to pour a drink. Because we want to learn about all these triggers and everything, and that's good in part of the journey. Thank you, Sandy. He gets drunk. He pours him a drink. And I'm just using this analogy. So maybe anger is a trigger for him. So we help him to teach to deal with his anger differently. So what happens is, in that time, when somebody, for example, confronts him or makes him angry or whatever the case might be, there's not a whole long procedure in his mind where he says, now I'm angry and I don't like feeling like this and all of that. He just goes into the red. The revs just go up, and it's almost automatic, where he takes the bottle and he pours him a dop. And yes, for sure, Richie, that is just the way it works. And what happens in the program is, if you're actively doing the program, yeah, we can have all these triggers and whatnot, but it says in the literature that we teach that if I'm tempted with, or if somebody puts drugs in my face, it will be automatic that I recoil from it as if it were a hot flame. Now, without the program, my automatic thought would be, okay, lekker, free drugs. And the more we practice it, it's like all of us cook, most of us watching like cook and whatever, and I explained it to the guys, if the onions is burning, and it's the first time the onions is burning, it's not automatic to you to throw a bit of water in the pot, pull the flame off the heat and stir it. That you've seen, or that becomes second nature after practicing it, or after burning the onions a couple of times, or reading it somewhere, or seeing somebody else that is cooking doing it. And that's the same way in recovery. That's the same way in the parents sharing and the loved ones sharing their experience, strength and hope. Sharing how they feel. I'm glad that, and I think maybe Richie, you can identify with this. I'm glad that I've got a partner that understands that I have to do what I do, and almost put that my recovery first all the time. And it can be frustrating because sometimes we're sitting nice and comfortable and all of that. Or we'd be having a conversation, maybe this time, sometimes on the phone if we're not busy or whatnot. And then I would have to do a meeting, or I'd have to take a call from somebody that's in trouble or hurting, or a parent that needs somebody to listen. Because that is a part of my program. So what happens is, the more you practice the program, it becomes automatic. So when the onions are burning, it's not a whole long procedure where while the onions are burning, you look in the book and, okay, if the onions are burning, because there's some unwritten rules in recovery. Have you ever read in a recipe what to do when the onions are burning? Because recipes don't tell you that. And at the same time, recovery centers don't tell people that. Reduced ignition, Marlboro Blue, Beyond. And that's what I'm getting to, is that the program teaches you to, when you are triggered or when you are tempted, what will happen automatically when you're practicing and getting the program right is you will recoil from it like a hot flame, as if it's a hot flame. And with practice, that becomes normal. Just like the procedure of the alcoholic getting pissed off, and it's automatic where he would pour a drink. With practice in the program, it becomes easier and easier. So, with practice in removing the stigma and sharing and doing what's uncomfortable in the beginning for us, because it's new, it becomes second nature after a while. And it becomes normal. And that's why I almost beg of you people to spread and to help us create awareness. To remove the stigma. Because 1 out of 500 cops are going to help us. There's a whole lot of fly-by-night rehabs there that is just causing more shit, prolonging the pain and suffering. And then there's the drug dealer. Okay, and the pharmacist. So where do the addict and their loved ones fit in this whole mess of a system? The only hope that we got is each other. Because the only people I see on here is the people that have been through this with each other. Because Richie, if those other people were helping you, why are you on this group and in contact with us almost daily? Because most of us are going through the same things and we just don't know it. And that's how we use small things like the orange ribbon. And we've actually got app or a thingy on. I'm not too good with the IT stuff, but that's why we've got an IT lady, social media manager up there in the UK, Lee J, that will post the thing now, just to add a little orange ribbon to your profile picture on Facebook. And that's the way we can stand together to make it easier in going forward for all of us. So that's me for this evening, and thank you all for watching. You know, if I say it's not about sharing my post or my story or my video. It's about sharing that people with addiction and that has come from chaos, self-inflicted chaos, and pain and problems, can also can find a way out of it. Because like I said to you, I could have either said it on this group earlier, or I could have said it in our evening meeting. A long time ago, by 2007, I had given up on rehabs. I thought it didn't work. Because when I left rehab in PE, early in 2007, it could have been, I got there 5 days before Christmas, and I think I left on the very early days in April. 10 minutes before I left and I was discharged, the psychologist and the social worker and the owner of the rehab, on my discharge letter and my sign-out page, where I just in pen answered all the things correctly, told me that I'm fine. Half an hour later, I bought crack at the bus stop with my saved up tuck shop money, because I was still sick inside. And that was the third time I'd been to rehab. Okay, lekker Richie, you're not powerless over the power anymore. So that's all we're asking. World Addiction Day is coming up. People don't have empathy for addicts. I remember, not in the depth of my addiction, but times that I had done a lot of bad things that people had heard about. Okay, they also done bad things, but they never done drugs. At least they had an excuse. I would sometimes not be forced, but almost have to be in the same place at the same time as these people. And you can feel it when you walk into a place and say there's a couple of groups of people, and they've heard a little bit of things about you. They've never walked in your shoes. They've heard a little bit of things about you, and you walk in. You're not even there to see them. They're also just a visitor. And you'll always get that one oak in the group or whatever that would like take the time out to say like, how's it going, and greet you nicely and whatnot. And then you'd get the people that would look at you, and you can feel that you're not welcome. You can feel that they look down on you. but they don't know that you're suffering with an illness that displays itself in and reacts in very funny ways. So automatically, what happens is when you walk into a situation like that, you feel isolated. Automatically, like most people that take a drink, know that if you get something in that you won't feel the stigma that they're putting on you. And these were people that I had never stolen from. Okay, they'd heard how I stole from other people. But these were also people that didn't feel my pain because they hadn't experienced what I had experienced. And years later, what I was going through, they started going through. And then their attitude changed. So that's all from me this evening. I ask you all to, like I said, Lee J is going to post the frame. Thanks, Richie, the frame for the orange ribbon. And then all your Orange Friday posters tomorrow. It can be orange coals. It can be coals from a fire. It can be orange teddy bears. It can be orange shoes like mine. I already got mine on. Check. To represent Orange Friday. I do it especially with the shoes because it's to remove the stigma. And don't judge me unless you've walked in my shoes. And people will think, what's that ribbon for and whatnot and all of that. And maybe there's somebody out there that can identify with us. Maybe there's someone out there that's looking for a way out. Maybe there's somebody out there that is going through pain. Not always an addict, but the loved one, or the girlfriend, or the kid, or the parent of an addict. So the system that failed us, that is failing us, that will continue to fail us, we need to find a way around that system. And I believe that we found it here at RAEL. That is why we've got ongoing friendships that go on. Lekker ore. I'd like to still meet up with you sometime soon on the farm here. And thank you all for watching this evening. I'll look out for your profile pictures with your orange ribbons. And like I said, Lee J will post the frame so that we can all use that. And then good night from all of us here at RAEL. From all of us here. All of us 30 guys over here that were a while ago caught in the shit of addiction, caught in the pit of it, and didn't know the way out. And that's how we use each other and stick together in going forward. Because most of the time all we have is each other. Okay? So have a good night all. We haven't experienced any load shedding here yet. And we're prepared for it if it is coming. But even though the lights won't be on, there will be somebody home. And thank you all for watching. Thanks for being there for me to share to. Thank you for sharing so that somebody that was or is in the situation that I was in can maybe learn something and find a way to get out of that pit. Okay. Alright, so we'll see you tomorrow night, Friday night. And thank you, Lee J. Lee J's posted the frame for the orange pick, and we'll keep you guys all up to date for World Addiction Day that was founded by RAEL. RAEL was founded by Mr. Hall, so everything that goes along with RAEL is also founded by Mr. Hall. World Day of Prayer for Addiction, World Addiction Day, Orange Friday, all the awareness and activism campaigns that we run, the marches that we used to do before the lockdown, and the bigger we can grow together, I'm sure the bigger the impact. So thank you all. Have a lovely evening. God bless.